New Buddhaware Dhamma Talks. Jeff Hunt presents a talk on some aspect of the Buddha's teaching.
Presence. That is, another way of looking at it is that I'm letting go of the past, so I'm not thinking about anything past. I have no particular memories, but of course they will pop up, but we are letting them go as far as we can. And also the future. When we get attached to the future and think that thinking itself will resolve possible difficulties or threats in the future, what we are doing is worrying. And there's no happiness in worrying. So try to back off the future, try to back off the past, and just be, as they say, here and now, which can become a very hackneyed expression, of course. But it's really very important, and it's very difficult to get it across if we have never stopped in our lives, perhaps, just to be very aware of this very moment. It's as though let me put it this way. I like parables. Let's say you're sitting in a train, looking out of the window, and you know how everything is just flying by. Okay. Now, if you're thinking about the destination, where the train is going, then you're in the future. If you're thinking about where the train came from, and it was 5 minutes late, and who was that person I saw on the platform? Was that somebody I know? You're in the past. What you're not doing is looking out the window. Right? That's what you're not doing. Because you're living in the past or living in the future. You're not looking out the window. If you look out the window, everything is flowing. You can't stop it. It can't be stopped. You can't stick your arm out the window and grab the nearest telegraph pole. I think your arm will come off. You can't stop it. It's moving. It's changing constantly. Just like life, isn't it? Now imagine that that's a metaphor for life, that I need to let go of past and future and just look out the window, just to be with a sense of presence that, it's a magical thing, like, I'm right here now talking to you, but it's flowing. I can't capture it. It's moving on. It has a constant flow. So it's not as though I'm actually just watching the river go by. I am in the river. I am rowing my boat gently down the stream. Or not so gently. And occasionally a rock will loom up. So present, inwardly attentive, neutral observation, being present. Now mindfulness doesn't work without this sense of presence, of just being able to let go of what's behind, what's in the future, and kind of just have a sense of the flow, what appears to us as the flow of time. It's almost as though you could hear time passing. Just imagine it was total silence in terms of physical sound, but you could still have a sense of time moving on. You are breathing from one breath to another. Your heart is beating from one beat to another. It's like we try to jump in the river and be in that spot, and it's gone. That sense of impermanence, of shifting, of just letting go of what's ahead on the railway track, what's behind. I'm just looking out the window, and it's just okay. It's really quite liberating to be able to do that. Think how much time in your life you have spent in the future worrying. And it's pretty futile. Shall I tell you why? Because problems cannot be solved before you get to them. Problems are solved in life at the time you are living the problems, because then the solutions appear as well. But to think that you can do that in your head before the problem's even arisen, well, you might have a little sketch, a little plan, which you could do in a neutral way, but there is no substitute for being in the present. So even difficulties present themselves in the present, and that is when you solve them. Think how much time you might spend in the past. The distant past, people that hurt you perhaps, or maybe just yesterday, somebody that said something, you wonder what they mean. We're the only creature that does this. So we are the only creature that can have this kind of unhappiness. Other creatures, just look at them. Watch a bird. Watch your dog. Living right there in the present. They're not worrying about the future. And they have no remorse and no regret. Now, we're not trying to be birds or dogs, but we can learn something from other creatures, and we should have respect for them. Because in some ways they have greater wisdom than we do. We are pretty neurotic and pretty unstable. And because of that instability, we can do pretty dreadful things to each other. Animals only do things to each other because they have to eat. But we're not satisfied with that. We do things out of hatred. That is the world we live in, a one of future and past. So we need to take a rest and just to come to where that blackbird sitting on the bird table in the garden is. No future, no past. So that's the present of mindfulness, trying to remember to be in the present. Now I often say when you come through that door, it's like you're coming into a mindfulness observatory until you leave. Everything we do in here then is mindful. So there's no waiting, because waiting is about the future. There's no watching other people and what they're doing, because you're not thinking and you're not making judgments. You're just doing what you're doing. So whether you're standing up, sitting down, walking in a circle, whatever it is, you have a sense of presence. It's like we've arrived at this moment, it all somehow fits together in this moment, right? And then it's gone. And it will never, ever return. Isn't that amazing? Now you either get it or you don't. You can either be amazed by that or think, what the hell is this going on about?
New Buddha Way lets go of East and West and starts afresh in the life we have now. For more information, visit www.newbuddhaway.org.